Greetings. My name is Robert Ranstadler. I am a postgraduate student at Liberty University's School of Education, where I am working toward earning an executive certificate in instructional design and technology. The following presentation is a simulated briefing for an instructional design project developed to correct several performance issues at a fictional organization, Harmington Regional Airport, which is loosely based on my firsthand aviation industry experience, including managing a municipally owned airport. I am submitting this assignment to satisfy the course requirements for EDUC 733, Instructional Systems Design, under the supervision of Professor Christopher Mangan. I have no known conflicts of interest to disclose. Correspondence concerning this project may be addressed to me at rranstadler@liberty.edu. Good morning, Harmington leaders and policymakers. Thank you for taking the time to attend today's presentation. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today, and thank you for having me. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Time is money." That especially holds true for this group, most of whom are serving in elected positions or appointed roles that demand time away from your families and businesses. Wouldn't it be great then if you can minimize time lost at home and work while meeting and even exceeding all your obligations as city and airport leaders? That's exactly why I'm here, and it's what we're going to discuss in less time than it takes to share a conversation over a cup of coffee. But first, let's take a minute to focus by revisiting the Harmington Regional Airport mission statement, which pledges that HRA shall commit to fostering the economic development of the city of Harmington by supporting the aeronautical needs of the local community and regional patrons in a financially responsible manner. These are matters concerning time and money, which we already established are one and the same. In light of the ongoing and unresolved regulatory issues that we are all aware of, however, can we honestly claim that the airport is fulfilling its mission? Are we truly providing for the financial and economic health of the city of Harmington and the surrounding region? Unfortunately, the answer is a resounding no. This doesn't mean, however, that conditions must remain the same or that the situation is hopeless. Quite to the contrary, there are three outcomes within our collective grasp that, if fully realized, will not only meet but far exceed HRA's mission. First is the matter of Part 139 compliance that must be achieved to prevent the airport from losing its commercial air service certificate. I don't need to elaborate on this point. We all know how devastating it would be if HRA lost this credential. Second is the matter of staff and workplace development, which will facilitate airport growth and advancement. Finally, we must consider fundamentally overhauling the organizational structure of the city airport framework in order to achieve lasting and meaningful change. Without digging too deeply into the weeds, it's safe to say that from an operational perspective, we currently are not where we want to be. In industry parlance, this space between desired and actual behavior is referred to as a performance gap. Presently, there is a significant amount of frustration at nearly all levels of the organization, complete with arguments over accountability, disorganization, and the misallocation of valuable resources. Ideally, we'd all like to eliminate or at the very least minimize the performance gap, a reality free of compliance issues where everyone functions as a team, communicates fully and freely with one another, and is adaptable enough to tackle nearly any situation. The good news is that with some careful planning and hard work, all of this is attainable. It's just a matter of arming policymakers, leaders, and workers with the requisite knowledge, skills, and abilities to make informed decisions about appropriate actions. The steps required to undertake such changes are referred to in the human performance business as interventions, several of which my team has designed and tailored to meet your needs. As you can see on this slide, we've separated 3 interventions into 5 categories that affect 3 groups: governance, management, and production. We additionally provided for 2 non-instructional interventions designed around workforce development and strategic realignment initiatives that will facilitate and foster long-term organizational change. Every plan is specifically engineered to meet the unique needs of each learning group while simultaneously leveraging the pre-existing knowledge and skills of our learners. Airport policymakers will be able to contribute to workshop conversations by offering their perspectives on public policy and municipal matters, for example, while the airport management team will hone their executive decision-making skills by engaging in authentic and innovative simulations. With our plans fully drawn, the next step to address is implementation. My team will rely on 3 delivery methods to conduct each intervention, including instructor-led training, blended instruction, which is a combination of face-to-face and online training, and the use of PBLs, or problem-based learning environments. All of you are undoubtedly familiar with face-to-face workplace instruction, for which there is sometimes no substitute. We plan to enhance the learning experience and lower overall cost, however, by supplementing in-person learning with a robust suite of educational tools, including a learning management system, wearable job aids, and the creation of collaborative learning environments, which will catapult individual and organizational performance to a whole new level. Pre-training activities will include a project kickoff meeting, similar to this setting, during which municipal and airport stakeholders will approve timelines and provide feedback necessary to fine-tune the project prior to its launch. Inter-project activities will consist of targeted Part 139 training for airport managers, the deployment of blended learning aids for production staff, a joint leadership workshop for members of the Harmonton City Council and the Harmonton Regional Airport Advisory Board, and follow-on strategy sessions addressing talent development and strategic realignment initiatives. My design team will provide a final outbrief at the conclusion of the project, followed by a series of virtual meetings during which we'll provide continuing systems support. Change is inevitable, but we realize it can be unsettling. That's why we prioritize effective communications. With all the changes nestled into this project, regularly communicating with one another will be a necessity. Our preferred and primary way of communicating with learners and stakeholders remains the tried and true written word, but we'll supplement all written correspondence with a plethora of live interactions, including regular telemeetings and face-to-face site visits. This 3-pronged approach will open lines of communication and foster collaboration while establishing inclusive and meaningful learning environments. Regardless of the medium, rest assured knowing that every interaction will be overseen by subject matter experts regarded as the absolute best in their respective fields, including instructors, consultants, and project managers with proven histories of innovation and success. The timeline picture here highlights several strategic milestones taking place over the life cycle of the project, spanning from October 2025 through January 2026 and beyond. In Q1 of fiscal year 2026, we plan to launch core initiatives targeted at the management group, including Part 139 training and personnel training consultations. The following month will see the deployment of the Canvas learning management system and mobile performance support systems for the benefit of the production group. In the weeks leading up to the end of the calendar year, we'll bring things full circle by addressing the governance group, including the convening of a leadership workshop, the deployment of a talent development team, and assistance rendered by a strategic realignment task force. This latter group will be composed of stakeholders and subject matter experts invested in the long-term economic and operational sustainability of the city airport framework. Sessions including leadership workshops and strategic task force will be included. A scheduled holiday break bridges fiscal quarters 1 and 2, eventually leading to a post-intervention outbrief and endurance system support that will continue into the third quarter of fiscal year 2026. All the planning in the world means little, however, unless we establish meaningful and productive metrics for measuring success. Based on your initial inputs, my team devised a battery of procedures using a range of instruments and methods to articulate in concrete terms milestone progression over the course of the project. Learners will be assessed, for example, on retained knowledge, while evaluators will consider the validity and credibility of evolving interventions. Deliverables will include instructional and learning accomplishments translated into applicable metrics, including quantitative analyses and estimated profit and loss projections. Team members will leverage an open systems approach based on Kirkpatrick's 4 levels of evaluation while weighing the effectiveness of each intervention. This will entail contrasting instructional and non-instructional inputs against graduated outputs commensurate with the project's evolving scope and objectives. Approximately 1/3 of our efforts will be devoted to calculating learner engagement. 40% of our resources will be allocated to assessing learning, And the remaining 30% of our time and energy will focus on determining if learned knowledge, skills, and abilities have successfully translated into desired behaviors and long-term results, matching established performance objectives. Central to the entire process will be iterative and adaptive changes implemented in response to client feedback and observed developments. As mentioned on the preceding milestone slide, our project timeline is an aggressive one, mapped out in such a fashion to maximize learning and productivity curves in the shortest time plausible. This will prove particularly important as we near the end of the calendar year, which includes several holiday breaks. Most milestones and deliverables will have target completion dates falling during the middle of each month, with the exception of January that includes two deliverable dates, January 8th and January 28th, to accommodate the compiling and reporting of findings from the governance and strategy sessions, which will ultimately be included as part of the project outbrief. Speaking about briefs, it appears that my time here today is nearing its end. I appreciate your attention and look forward to partnering with the City of Harmonton in the future. I'll now open the floor to any questions. If you think of any afterwards, however, please do feel free to reach out to me at the email address or phone number listed here. Thank you and have a wonderful day.